everybody thinks I'm dumb, and I'm not. I don't know how unique this experience is to me, but you ever do something where you say something and you are coming at it from a different place than everybody thinks you're coming at it from, and then they're like, Hank, you're such a stupid. And I gotta be okay with it, as long as it's not actually hurting my brand. I don't think this is hurting my brand, but I want to talk you through it, and I want to talk you through why I'm not that dumb. It all started when Nikki Haley fan 02 on Twitter said just a few blue dots telling the majority of Americans how to live their lives, which is of course silly. Now there are lots of great graphs that show a different version of this. I in particular like ones that show purple, that's like it's not all about red or blue. The idea that like every county is red or blue is not the situation that we're living in. So I like this one that shows like the big spiky graphs, and a lot of them are purple or pink, and then like a lot of flat areas are all red. But there's other good ways to do it. For example, this way, which again, I don't love because it doesn't show gradients of colors. It just is a binary red or blue. But I saw this map and I was like, there's something weird going on with this map. Particularly this line right down the middle of it. So that's a very like weird thing that has happened in America. And so I tweeted about this. I said, okay, but WTF is going on with this line? And in part, I did this for three reasons. One, I didn't know exactly why this was. And this is the part where I am, if at a, like you could say that a person is dumb for not knowing things, which you can't. I'm dumb for not knowing exactly why this is the case. Now, there were lots of people who immediately pointed out one of the reasons why this is the case, which is precipitation. It becomes very arid on the other side of the country, and so it's harder to have like corn farms that lots of people use. And they call this the 100th parallel, or the 100th meridian, not parallel. And that's roughly where the 100th meridian is, and it sort of bisects the country in two, and 80% of people live on one side of it, and 20% of people live on the other side, even though California is freaking massive, and there's a lot of blue dots going on over there. But that's not the only reason why this line is so stark, and I knew that because I've seen population density maps of the US before, and yes, you can see that there's a little bit of a cutoff at the 100th meridian, and that is because of some very cool effects where there's like a cutoff from where like water goes. And as somebody in the comments said to me, the water doesn't follow the plow, which is like, wow, we're getting like beautiful in here. But what you'll notice is that there's a lot of empty space on this map too. Like there's like the empty places are more empty on the west, and also there's just fewer cities. There's a lot fewer cities. There's a lot of like the Midwest has a ton of freaking cities, and you don't know it until you go out there and you spend like a month in Ohio, and you're like, oh my god, there's a lot of freaking Ohio out here. I did not know there was so much Ohio. Population density does roughly track with water, which is amazing. And I guess that makes sense because it like certainly we started out as an agricultural nation. But this map, even the maps with the harshest color schemes, you do not see the same effect that I saw in this graph. So this is like a wall with a cutoff. And there's a reason why that is. And it is not because of precipitation. It's because of the structure of the graph. There's a button checked on this that says no county overlap. And that's the real reason why there's a hard wall that goes directly from, it looks like there's people like packed in all over the place to there's no people at all. Somebody actually posted the map with county overlap, and you can see that indeed the line is not as harsh, because what's happening is when you don't allow county overlap, the balls are all pushing against each other and they're sort of like blobbing out, including like over the ocean and over Canada in the Northeast, and like Florida doesn't look like Florida. So that actually helped me understand the two reasons why this graph has such a harsh line. That's the second reason why this graph is interesting, but it's not the second reason why I posted the graph. The second reason I posted this is because I knew there was an answer, and I thought it would be fun to give people a thing to do. And like I didn't immediately know it, and so it was like, look, if I post this, people are gonna like it, and they did, and then people are gonna engage, and they're gonna have like a moment on Twitter where they're like, oh, I learned something. So instead of being like, here's a fact, everybody, do you want to know why? I asked why, knowing people would tell me why, and then it would be a moment that was enjoyable enjoyable for everyone involved. And if you're coming into my mentions, you're saying, I can't believe I'm smarter than Hank Green. That's fun. I like that. But there are people being like legitimately mean. And none of them are aware that it's not just a 100th meridian thing. It's also a way that they made the map thing. But there's a third reason why I wanted to post this tweet. And this is probably the most important thing, both for myself to understand and for you to understand, and for this video to be a useful and interesting piece of internet archive. I wanted to get likes. It's so dumb. I was like, if I post this, people are going to talk about it. It's going to be like a thing. And like, in part, people are going to talk about it's going to be a thing because it's like going to be interesting and people are going to learn stuff. I don't have to tell you things for you to learn. Sometimes it's better for me to ask the question and then have you figure it out by clicking and looking at the replies or by Googling it yourself. Because sometimes I'm the guy that Googles for you, but sometimes you're the person who Googles for me. And I think that that's great. I think that that's a good system. But I also did just want to see the number go up. I don't approach the internet in a way that is healthy or strategic. You're not dumb if you don't know stuff. I'm not dumb if I don't know stuff, and we're definitely not dumb if we're asking each other questions and answering them for each other in a productive way on the internet where we learn through discovery rather than just thinking that we know stuff. I'm playing the part so that we can talk about things and learn from each other, because if we're all smart all the time, then we're never going to ask questions because we're going to be embarrassed by the fact that we don't know things. And if you yell at people for not knowing them, then they will be embarrassed, and then no one will ever ask questions. We'll never learn, but more importantly, we'll never have any goddamn fun. I'm not actually upset about this, but it was fun anyway. Complexly Learnathon, because good information is worth it. Complexly.com/learnathon. Learn cool things about your world. We've raised $16,000 of our $50,000 goal, but I am recording this on the first day that the campaign is live, and this is getting uploaded in the second week of the campaign. But you can get a trivia night with me. There is plenty of those left. You can also get the suggested gift 1 year of Complexly for $60, or the good information is worth a t-shirt for $100. Support what we do. Thank you to everybody who has donated, including Anonymous, who gave $1,100. And this is what Finvara had to say. I have a hypothesis that Hank consumed a not insignificant amount of There May Be Giants music during formative years. Feel free to provide any evidence you may or may not possess to support or disprove this idea if you are amused by this comment. It is wild to me that that is a supposition, a hypothesis, rather than just a complete statement of fact. Is my guitar in the room? It's certainly not tuned. I'm just gonna click on a random song. Women and men across the ocean, they now begin to pour out from the boat and up the shore. 2 by 2 they enter the jungle, and soon they number more. 3 by 3 as well as 4 by 4. Soon the stream of people gets wider, then it becomes a river. The river becomes an ocean, carrying ships that bear woman and man. My son just came in. Woman and man. You don't know that song, I bet.
Yeah, I don't know it.
No. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, who supported the Learnathon and also who hung out with me. I'm just talking to this camera, bud. Okay. Do you want to hear a song after I finish this? You want to hear Anglerfish?
No.
Nah? Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.